here we go. Here we go. National Press Club. Oh, there goes my cowboy hat. Oh, smokes! Holy smokes! There's Washington, D.C. winning. Holy smokes! Robert Earl White in Washington, D.C. The National Press Club building, where a historical disclosure event will be taking place right here. That's what's going on. It's going to be awesome. Got the monument in the background right there. We're right down here in DC, walking the streets. Got the hotel where the conference is happening right up here around the bend. It's going to be awesome. Making history.
I was out with my good friend Clay the night before the conference started, Saturday, 1:22 a.m., and I took a burst shot of 2 photos accidentally, and in the first shot there is absolutely nothing. And then in the second one you can see here there's clearly an object shooting across the sky right near the Washington Monument. That's how I knew that this disclosure event was going to be awesome. So let's take a look.
It's Robert Earl White. I'm here at the historic disclosure event in Washington, D.C., being hosted by Dr. Stephen Greer. Real whistleblowers, real information coming out. Tons of people here in the hotel going down. Stephen Greer is about to speak now. And we're here, we're in D.C. We're actually bringing real disclosure. No more fantastical stories, actual evidence. That's what we're doing, and we're here representing all of you that are watching this now on YouTube and all of that. We're trying to make history, and it takes great sacrifice, and so many people here. Stephen Greer and their team, absolutely incredible people. I've had the pleasure of getting to know a lot of them, and I'm going down. Hey! Here we go. There's the man with the plan, Dr. Stephen Greer, almost correct.
Before the National Press Club event, Stephen Greer hosted a conference allowing all of the whistleblowers to share more about their experiences in depth with more information. Had a good friend, John Warner, there sharing his story and his information. This is at the premiere viewing of The Lost Century and How to Reclaim It following the after party. There you can see me talking to Stephen Greer, having a good time, telling him about my UFO crash story. I also got to talk to Michael Stratt as well. Amazing man, doing a lot for the disclosure movement. It was an awesome VIP after party.
We're at the after party! Disclosure! Oh! No more disclosure. We're done for now. We are the disclosure, new era of contact here at the press briefing for the historical disclosure event, National Press Club. We're right here. Hello, how are you? I'm going to, how are you doing? Wonderful meeting you last night. If heaven was on earth, this is it for me. I've been waiting my whole life for this. Literally. Wow. Cool. Dude, yo, it just got real, man. I'm geeking out. My buddy here. What's up, brother?
Let's go.
I'm doing a video. Up there's Apollo. Look at her looking all fancy, acting like she's talking on the phone and doing something, but she's not. She's gonna laugh at that. I'm just playing with you. How's it going, sir? Good.
Whistleblower breakdown. The first one was retired Colonel Heckert. He was a part of the U.S. Air Force, and he was actually a U-2 pilot in a TR-1 projects along with Blackbird projects and many others. He gave a compelling testimony. Also, he brought up something about working on retrievals of nuclear satellites, and that sometimes when these satellites would come down, he would be on a retrieval team to help control the contamination. He talked about his time and some of the strange happenings while he was in the Air Force and some of the projects he worked on and some of the things he was privy to. The second whistleblower was Michael Herrera. He was a part of the Marine Corps, and he witnessed a man-made UFO in Indonesia being loaded with drugs, weapons, and possibly humans. They were doing some humanitarian aid work with a platoon of 6 after a tsunami hit Indonesia, and while being in the jungle, they came across this ginormous man-made flying saucer. At this point, Michael and his team started documenting, trying to figure out what this was. Next thing they know, they have brand new Ford trucks pull up, and they are held at gunpoint. They are stripped of their weapons and disarmed in a way that only high professional personnel would know. It's also important to note that these people were speaking a Native American dialect, and they were not natives or some sort of drug cartel in Indonesia. These were black projects that threatened Michael and his team of 5 other Marines to remain silent and to turn around. It took him many years, but he finally got to come forward to share this once the Whistleblowers Act was passed back this December. And he came forward, and it's a really compelling story of what they are doing with these reverse engineered technologies. And if they are caught, they just blame it on extraterrestrials and UFOs. Michael Herrera is a true patriot, and I thank him for his efforts on exposing what they are doing with these advanced secret technologies. Next up is Stephen Digna Jr. He was an U.S. Army witness that saw a V shape while he was stationed at Fort Irwin, where he would do a lot of desert battle strategies and training soldiers to go into desert combat situations. One night, while he witnessed this V-shaped flying craft, he reported it to his higher-ups, and they completely ignored it. Along with that, also, him and his wife at the time witnessed a triangular shape object which he actually physically touched. During this time, his wife was in some sort of stasis, frozen in time, and the story only gets crazier from there, where he went into some of his abduction experiences. The next witness, D.C. Long, wonderful guy, made me laugh a lot, but he was a part of the U.S. Army, and he was doing contracting work with his father, who did a lot of work for Fort Bragg in engineering and all of that. And one day, him and his father went to this facility on Fort Bragg where he witnessed some sort of levitating giant concrete block. Shortly after this, his family, his father lost his business, lost everything they ever owned, worked so hard for, and his life has been really, really hard ever since then. And it just goes to show that some of these advanced technologies, that even if you come across them by accident, some of the repercussions of what could happen to you and your family and your livelihood. He's a true patriot. I'm so thankful that he is sharing this story now. I'm so sorry for what him and his father had to go through for simply seeing some sort of advanced technology hooked up to a giant concrete block, which caused some sort of anti-gravity ET technology. Then my good friend who I've had on the show multiple times, Eric Hecker, okay? He was stationed in the South Pole at the Antarctica station. And during his time down there, he came across something known as the ice cube neutrino detector. And this neutrino detector is able to do a lot of different things other than just detecting a neutrino. It turns out that this is one of the biggest phased array transmitters in the universe due to where it's stationed in the South Pole, and the energy that it's able to emit from these neutrons has the capability to send signals far beyond what we could possibly imagine at a speed that there's no way we could possibly imagine. He also talked about lasers shooting up into space out of another facility and some of the strange things going on, and even a fireball that he witnessed flying across the sky while he was stationed down there. He's a wonderful friend of mine, and his story, although it was cut short during the National Press Club briefing, for someone to deliver that much information in 5 minutes versus the others that had 20 minutes to 30 minutes to speak on these subjects, it was truly remarkable. And I really look forward to hanging out with him and seeing him in Alaska and doing more projects together. Indeed, they have directed energy weapons, and this is what he was bringing up to the public. Then Stephen Greer went over many different UFOs, what we know as man-made versus actually extraterrestrial, going back, showing us a presentation. This is man-made, this is extraterrestrial, etc., and covering a few other things throughout the years and how they have used these for clandestine black operations that are outside of the budget of the United States. Senators, congressmen, and even the president have no idea where this money is going, nor what they are creating or building. Then Stephen Greer brought out attorney Derek Garcia, which he was discussing the RICO, the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, and plans for a legal task force and some of the things that they are planning on holding these black projects accountable for. Derek went over the following of the RICO case: crimes committed by covert black projects and operations, treason against the United States, murder, mass murder, torture, kidnapping and abduction, embezzlement of government funds, embezzlement of private funds, and bank fraud, money laundering, illegal surveillance, insubordination and insurrection against the United States, false imprisonment, witnesses and whistleblower intimidation, theft of intellectual property, trespassing, burglary, framing of innocent people, government corruption, blackmail, bribery, illegal use of government and military property. This probably has something to do why you didn't see this on the mainstream media, because they were too busy talking about a nothing burger about Las Vegas and so-called other whistleblowers that aren't willing to testify in front of Senate or Congress.
In the archive are 121. We learned of another one last night from a very high level whistleblower who is not ready to come forward. So there's actually 122 crash retrieval cases of these UAPs.
If anybody wants to find out more, I have a website where all this information is at. For brevity, I'll wrap it up, but you can go to deciphering.tv. I've documented all of this stuff, and information is available.
Awesome. Thank you.